Hello out there. This is Ivan Van Norman. And with my co-host, Kev.
Yeah.
Co-host, Kev. And you are back on episode 2 of the Nerd Commies podcast. That's not nearly as good as our intro music, but that's what it is. No, that's what you get right now, here, on this. So yeah, we made it past a single episode. We're now in episode 2 today.
It feels good.
It feels like we're not failures, or at least we're not failures yet.
Not just yet.
No, we gotta make a couple more before we can be deemed as failures yet. But we're glad that you're watching the second episode. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about today. The first one and the big one is talking about the Streamies. Then we're going to talk about binge watching all in one week versus watching a show a week. You know, the big idea being that, do you sit and watch episode after episode after episode, or do you watch it the week after week after week the way that it's originally was supposed to be intended?
See, I like to watch stuff, binge.
Okay,
watch.
well, we're going to get into that.
Okay.
When we do there. But then we're also going to have our soon-to-be famous Red Review.
Okay.
With co-host Kev.
Yeah.
We're gonna,
now showing.
Is that what you're calling it? Now showing?
Now showing.
Oh, okay.
Or now streaming.
Now streaming.
See, I keep
See,
screwing this up.
I thought it was Red Review now, too.
No, because I don't want to attach myself to
okay.
Redbox, too.
All right, so now showing. Sure.
Now streaming.
Now streaming. All right, guys, it's now streaming. We're going to make this official here. And then I'm going to do my Kickstarter kick-ass, fun little Kickstarter projects that are up and running. We're going to talk about the new growing fame of the Harlem Shake video, which is hilarious.
Great, man. There's a couple I wanted to show you.
Yeah, and then we have the PS4. Obviously, PlayStation did their first, public press conference about it today, so we got some info on that. And the return of The Walking Dead. The glorious Walking Dead, which seems to still be keeping its vibe alive.
I enjoy it. You know, the whole relationship with the one-eyed guy.
The governor, dude.
And
the governor. And they did a lot compared to... You never read the comics, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
They just...
they did something different. Yeah. It's very different than what they did. But that's fine. They can make choices like that. Right. We don't want to redo the comic anyway.
I could read the comic.
Let's go back to talk about our agenda and get back on the Streamies. So, co-host Kevers.
Yo.
Why don't you talk about the Streamies?
Well, the Streamies, if you're not aware of what the streamers are, it's probably the Oscars. The internet. Yeah. YouTube, pretty much, more specifically. But if you created a video or some kind of production that's put on YouTube, Vimeo, and it's, gripping and people loved it and you got a lot of likes, you're up for Streamies.
So what is a Streamy channel based? Is it video based?
I think it's video based.
It's video based.
As long as you release something out into the internet for the internet, you're up for the Streamies.
That's a lot of videos, Cap.
I know, man.
How do they narrow it down?
You got me.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably who the most popular one is. And
okay, so is it just solely based on views? Because there were some issues around views for a while.
I don't think it's solely based on views. I think it's more of who has the most creative talent. And they have different categories. So if you want to check them out online, the Streamies, I think it's .org or .com. I should really look that up.
But it looks like that. Obviously, they have lots of different categories here. They have, best direction, best male performer in a comedy, best writing in a comedy, best female performance in a comedy, best host, best ensemble cast, best online musician, male performance in a drama, guest appearance, best female performance in a drama, and a best original songs. Yeah, because there's a lot of songs out there that get uploaded to YouTube. Animated series.
Yeah, music videos.
Do-it-yourself or how-to series. That's awesome. I really like that they did that.
They need to get recognized.
Yeah, they do. Live series, first-person series, interactive programs, derivative series. Man, the list goes on and on. Best editing, best visual effects, best choreography. So that's when it starts getting into the back. So, man, this is intense. There's a lot of these. Audience Choice finalist for Personality of the Year. Man, that's got to be the golden one right there for all of them, yeah?
Yeah, that's the prize.
The prize.
Who's up for that?
The best
host.
Okay, this was the third, but the nominees were Ashley Clemens, Bernie Sue, Brad Bell, Chester C, Grace Herring. See, I'm not a YouTuber. I don't know a lot of these people. But there, no, I recognize one, Smosh. Smosh is on there. Only because my other contestant Joshua is part of Smosh.
Ovenshire,
the Ovenshire. But yeah, that's wild, dude. So it looks like it's a thing. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The internet is now a thing.
Oh, what? That's shocking news.
So anyway, so that's the stuff. So go up, get involved, be part of it.
Go out and vote for your favorite YouTube star. I wouldn't call him a YouTube star, but internet star.
But internet, yeah. It's something that you enjoy, and if you're sitting there and you're going through YouTube or you're playing your other stuff, and you want to have someone be recognized, go look for it. Be involved.
Yeah,
guys.
Cast your vote.
So, okay, let's talk about your debate that you're hot on right now. The binge watching versus laying it out little by little.
So this all started because Netflix released their original broadcast of Kevin Spacey's House of Cards.
Okay, yeah.
It's a show about being in the government and the White House and being a caucus whip.
Yeah.
And what it takes to get your bills passed and pretty much, stab people in the back.
Being part of the political system, you could say.
Yeah, and a quote-unquote real take on it.
Okay.
No fluff, no, funny stuff.
They're not CSIing it up.
No. So it's original programming, and Netflix produced this.
Okay.
And they released the whole season.
Okay. They just did it the entire season just in one run.
If you want to watch the last episode, you can do it.
And without even watching the first?
No.
Okay.
So I love binge watching shows or even movies. So I'd rather sit through, I did that for Battlestar Galactica.
Okay, you just watched it back to back to back to back to back.
I don't know how you stop.
Yeah, I get that.
The only thing that stopped me is work and eating.
See, I think this is valid because I can actually advocate on the other end of this.
Okay,
I prefer usually watching it, spacing it out. Maybe not every week on like a daily planned it. 10 p.m. or Thursdays at 10 p.m. or something like that. But I do honestly enjoy making a ritual around watching a show. And I guess that just depends on. What was the first series that you sat and binge watched?
Wow. Let me think for a minute. Wow, that's a tough one.
First one you can recall, at least.
I can recall my very first one that I binged watched was The Wire.
The Wire. Okay.
And then Sopranos.
And how did it feel binge watching?
I felt good because I got my answers that I wanted. Okay. I didn't have to wait a week to find out what happened to so-and-so.
Did you ever experience, because remember, let's look at the word binged for a second.
Okay.
Because that has to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
What else can you binge on?
Drinking.
Yes,
sir.
And eating. And you do, and those are things that you both get sick of after you've been doing them for too much.
Yeah.
Did that happen with your shows?
No. That's why I encourage and I make a habit of binge watching shows because I don't get sick of the show. I just fulfill what I need, my answers for the show, and if I need to stop, I'll stop and then resume later.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of commercials. I'm not a fan of waiting times or So I usually go on to the.
I can get behind that, but my thing is like I've been, and a lot of girlfriends that I've had have all wanted to sit and when we watch a show, they're like, okay, next one, next one, next one, next one, and they just keep through it and doing like you do. You just sit and go through it and binge, but then by the time you realize it's 4:00 in the morning, and you got to get up. And then to a certain degree, there's a certain amount of excitement and waiting to see when the next experience is going to be. Like to sit on it, to think about what you've processed in that last episode, and then be able to go back and re-experience it again, that same thing. So I guess it's the difference is that is that you take it in tinier bites, you know, so you enjoy it over a longer period of time.
Okay, out of all the shows that you've binge watched, which one did you think, hey, you know what, that was a mistake? I should have taken my time and did the week by week, or at least a day or so.
I've never really binge watched a lot of shows.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I think the most episodes I will watch in a single session is 3 or 4.
Wow. You know? That's pretty usual for me. 3 or 4 is...
3 or 4?
Yeah, that's pretty much... I mean, because Battlestar Galactica was an hour each, so that's 3 hours I can only watch.
Yeah, and some of them might be half hours or 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. So, but I guess... I remember specifically sitting and watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and having them all on DVD, the cartoon series.
Yeah.
And just binge watching it and knowing as I was getting closer to the end of the series that I needed to enjoy every episode that much more going down it, because if I binge watched it too fast, it's almost like eating a really... Here's the comparison I have. It's like going to a really fine dining experience, 5-star.
Okay.
And you're spending $50, $60 a plate on your meal. You don't scarf that thing down like an Astro Burger.
No.
You know? You enjoy it because it's fine dining and you only get to experience it once for the first time. You know?
That's true.
For me, I think shows, really good shows, are just like that. If you really love it, it's like a fine piece of gourmet meal that you gotta sit and love.
Okay. So what show is that for you right now?
Right now? Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying having it be the slow release.
Yeah, me too.
And I think the only show that I vehemently, actively binged watched actually was My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. So, because it was on DVD, or was on my streaming, and I downloaded them and I went through them one by one. But it was also, I think the difference there is I was by myself and they were only 15, 20 minutes an episode.
Yeah, they're short.
Well. So that's kind of where I stand as far as the whole binge eating and binge watching debate goes. But yeah. I think you should probably actually, now that you talked about House of Cards a little bit, I think you should go into that. That's part of your now streaming part, isn't it?
Yes, that is the now streaming.
Okay, well then let's go into that.
Now streaming.
Now streaming.
Should be different every time, you know? That's what I'm going to try to do.
Now streaming.
Now streaming is brought to you by the Dirty Sock Productions.
Dirty Sock Productions. No, it's a new product that you get online. It's called the Dirty Windsock, you know, and it serves 2 purposes. It's an actual windsock to protect your microphone from too much P's and Q's, yes. But it also keeps your mouth not that close to the mic as well too, because of the vehement smell. So
that's why you always wash your socks, kids.
$19.99 on TV. Call now. So.
Order on Etsy.
Order on Etsy. Order on Etsy. Use your gift card. Support your local Dirty Socks. Okay. Now streaming.
So now streaming, we have House of Cards, starring Kevin Spacey, a Netflix original production. Catch it on now. It's on full. The whole season's on there. You can watch it. You can binge watch it, or even wait week to week if you would like.
Sure.
Because you have total control of what you want to watch and how much you want to watch it.
And that's the most important thing, is choices, right?
Yeah. That's what I love about living today, being a television show watcher or a movie watcher, is I can watch my shows or my movies anytime I want. You know, in the old days when we were little kids, you had to show up at 7 o'clock.
Oh, and God help you if you were 5 or 10 minutes late. If you sat down to watch your favorite show, you were pissed.
Yep. Just everyone shut up. You know. There's quiet time.
Yep. Quiet
TGIF
time
is on.
Yep.
So you got to.
So talk to me more about this Netflix. I mean, about Netflix original production. So they budgeted it. They actually produced the show.
They produced the show. They paid everyone up front, and they took it as original content to start trying to compete with a new company, Redbox, who's transferring their service from just a box to actually instant streaming, to try to separate themselves from their competition.
Because they're now actually acting like a production distribution company so that they can have original series that you can't get on Redbox.
Exactly. So that it was
a good business model.
It is. And it's a great show, great cast, and gripping stuff. It might not be for everyone, but it's definitely more on the political side.
Sure.
Kind of like Revenge or the one with Glenn Close.
I hear it's a lot like Dexter, but in political sense. No, not at all. Okay,
not at all.
I just made that up anyway.
Okay,
so
good.
So good.
It's a test, right?
That was a test. That was to test you.
Yeah, not at all. Kevin Spacey does really good at it, and it just, like I said before, it goes through being Kevin Spacey's character as a caucus whip for the Democratic Party.
Okay.
And it shows how dirty the Democrats can be just as much as the Republicans, which I applaud.
There you go.
You got to show both sides, man. You think
it's true.
One's goody-goody, one's baddie-baddie? I don't think so, man.
No.
It's called human nature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he really brings it out. Him and his wife have this relationship that is... they're both powerful players in Washington, and how they handle that relationship.
Interesting.
Blood and Chrome. Oh,
Blood and
so
Chrome.
are you a Battlestar Galactica?
You know what?
fan?
I have not jumped on that bandwagon because I have a laundry list to get through, man.
Yeah, we all do, man.
And the BSG has been one so highly recommended to me on so many different occasions that I want to give it the time and the attention that it deserves before I jump on there. You know. So no, I have not had the ability to get on there. I'm actually told myself I needed to finish Deadwood before I got into BSG. First.
See, I never got into Deadwood. Someone showed me a preview. I loved it, but that's just one of those shows that are on my list. Mm-hmm. But that I need to be reminded that I need to watch it.
That's the thing too. I gotta get through a couple of my major series before I can hop on that sucker.
Yeah. But BSG, Battlestar Galactica, Blood and Chrome, was originally released by Machinima. It's a YouTube channel that does a lot of nerdy gamer stuff, original series, quote unquote. It was released as kind of a prequel to Battlestar Galactica, the current one, not the oldest one.
Now, was it a fan piece? Was it animated?
No, it's a live action. The same people who kind of did Battlestar, the newer generation of Battlestar Galactica, did this series just for Machinima.
Oh wow!
They released them weekly. I think it was like 8 episodes, I think.
Okay.
But Sci-Fi recently picked it up. This is probably going to be after it shows this podcast.
Sure.
So it already broadcasted, but you can probably catch it online. It's on YouTube on Machinima channel.
Yeah.
And they broadcasted it just like the whole series.
Interesting.
Just all in one. So
in one.
Yeah, just one whole.
So now that it's done its run on Machinima and it's done its run on Sci-Fi, it's now on Netflix.
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's just that's streaming.
Oh, it's streaming. Duh. That's right, because this is just streaming in general.
Different.
So you got to hop on Machinima, or you have to hop on Sci-Fi and go and watch this.
Yeah.
Okay. That's excellent.
It's a really good companion to... It's between Caprica, which is a show way before Battlestar Galactica.
Sure.
In time. It's between Caprica, the show, and Battlestar Galactica, the show. So
I gotta tell you, we're gonna go off on a tangent a little bit here. Do you remember Farscape?
Yes, I did.
On Sci-Fi Channel. What was your opinion on that show?
Farscape, I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes.
Dude, I loved that show.
You love that show?
I loved that show.
I didn't like the main guy. I didn't relate to him.
I thought he was the great straight man.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't a comedy; it was a drama. But he really did serve as the, hey, this is who you, the audience, are, and they are just. And as he's discovering all of these different aliens and their cultures, you are, I freaking loved that thing, man.
I gotta check it out, man. It's on Netflix. It's cool.
I actually get every once in a while on my fan list. Usually on Twitter, people will recognize that brown vest that I wore in the promo shots.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, Is that a Peacekeeper vest from Farscape? And I'm like, yes, it is.
Correctamundo.
There, you got some extra bonus points. And yeah, because I freaking love that show, man.
Do people always point out like clothing they've seen you on the show with? Like, I don't know.
Well, no, your zombie survival plan will fail. Okay. It gets featured a lot because guess what? I'm going to wear that shirt a lot.
Okay.
If anything, just for people to be like, Oh, I wonder what that is. Your zombie survival plan will fail. Oh, OutBreak Undead. There you are.
I thought it was more of just like a statement that, you know what, I got my shit together. You, not so much.
You know what? Dual purpose, man. Dual purpose. Because that was what we like to say. Your zombie survival plan will fail because nobody's tested it yet. And logically, all plans fail until they are tested.
That's true. So, how are they being tested? What do you mean by...
The game allows you to test your zombie survival plan.
Okay.
You know? And that was the big thing, is playing yourself as a character and allowing you to accurately simulate any zombie apocalypse scenario, playing yourself, testing your zombie survival plan.
But what do you start, how do you decide what you start out with?
Well, I mean, that's an excellent question. It depends on where you start your game at.
Okay.
I mean, if you're asking how you start and make your character...
not so much, just more of like... Yeah, once I created my character,
where do you begin?
How much, inventory do I have?
Well, what do you own in your own home, Kevin?
This is like for real. This is not just like roll the dice, I get a machete.
No, this is, I mean, you can if your GM gives you a machete,
okay.
But if you run it as a simulation, like we're in the podcast room, boom, screams outside. What do we have access to? Everything in this room potentially has a rule, especially as an improvised weapon. You know,
we're taking out someone with a mic stand.
With the mic,
right in the eye.
Medium bludgeoning weapon.
Yeah.
1500. So it has a 15% lethality added to your melee attack value to create a ZK, a zombie kill ratio of a one clean kill and a single hit.
We're gonna have to do a whole podcast on this, man. We're gonna have to play on a podcast or bring it to the people somehow, because this is hard to imagine. We're talking about it.
I know, but there's so much involved. In fact, actually, I was going to talk to you later, especially around the Walking Dead area, but I got some ideas of what to do with OutBreak Undead and the zombie survival role-playing game.
I think it would be fun to invite people to play it, and we show it off so that people know what we're talking about, and I can experience, because that's what I want to do.
Yeah. We're gonna do something fun. I got something in the works.
Okay.
So we're gonna see if it pans out. But I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket until I got some people lined up. But I'm glad that you're there. And you know what? If there's an extra slot, then we'll throw you in there. But now that we're off our ridiculous zombie tangent there, and there probably will be a couple of those as we go throughout the series. But do you want to talk about the PS4?
PS4, yes. Okay. So I'm a big Xbox 360 fan.
Okay,
let's just throw it out there right now.
And I've transitioned effectively from Xbox to PS3. So
okay, see, I'm not a believer, man. But I'm privy to the news, and I like to see what the competition's doing.
Yeah.
Should I trade up my Xbox?
And your Xbox is I think 10 years old now at this point. Mm-hmm. So that kid's been around. By the way, it still holds DVDs. Just so you're aware.
Hey, you know what?
That's its medium of choice.
Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna say Halo. Okay,
no,
and we
great.
get GTA 5 first.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say those two things.
Sure. And Halo 4 was an awesome game. 343 Studios did a really awesome job.
Amazing.
On an 800 megabyte disc.
Right. But most of the stuff I have to do, I bought the disc, but there's a lot of stuff you can download.
Yeah. Actually, that's a lie. 2 800 megabyte discs. Because one had all the multiplayer stuff on it.
Right. But it's a lot of content.
It's a lot of content.
It's not, it's not Oogie Loves kind of deal, It's not.
No, and to be fair, and this is true, and anyone out there in the gaming world that wants to help me with this, but I would say a good percentage of game, unless they're PS3 exclusive, of course, are usually developed on the 360 and then ported over to the PS3. Because it's easier to develop on a 360 console using Microsoft's UI versus PS3's proprietary system.
Right.
So I'm being told that if you buy a multi-console game, say Assassin's Creed, or any other one that came out on literally across the board, it is often better and less glitchy to get it on the 360. So
that just proves my point.
That, I mean, wasn't saying anything bad about it. I'm just literally, I know that the poor kid's gonna die here soon, and they're gonna be moving over to a new console.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to buy games on the PS3 so that I still have someone to play with in the future. You know.
I know, and the whole thing with this. I don't know if you heard about Xbox they're considering streaming online only.
Yeah, they're considering removing media altogether.
Right. Is that true with the new PS?
From what I hear, no.
Okay.
But what I do hear is they're getting in a position where even if you do have a disc, and trust me, a lot of games are downloadable now anyway.
Right. Right. Some of the best games are.
Some of the best games are. I just downloaded the entire Final Fantasy collection from the original PS1 and PS2 back on my PS3. We've been binge playing it. It's awesome. But the big thing is, if they do have a medium, from what I hear on the PS4, they might be locked discs. Now, what that means is essentially every disc will come with its own code, and it will essentially verify with your PS3. So I don't know what the logistics of it are going to be yet, but from what my understanding is that they're going to essentially try to pull the rug out from underneath the used game market.
I mean, it already has. I mean, have you ever tried to sell your games back?
Yeah, I mean, it's crap. You get no money for it. You
get $1, $2, $3.
And do you know how much money those companies make on those used games?
Man, we took them for a long time. I don't remember if you remember FuncoLand. It was like before GameStop. It used to be called FuncoLand, and you used to go there and sell your games right back and get another game. And it was just...
See, there you go. Change a game for a game.
It was like 3 years of that, or 3 or 4 years of that, and then the
That's called being moral about it. Instead of buying a shitty game or selling a shitty game for $1 and then realizing that it's back on the shelf for $20.
Yeah.
That is a ridiculous markup for anything.
Right? Even for clothes. If you return your clothes, maybe your shoes, and they cost you $50, and if you go to local thrift store and they buy it back, they buy it cheap, but they don't mark it up.
No, they don't mark it up.
Almost brand new, because if you return a game, it's like when you buy it used, it's not $59.
And the point of it too is that the game it doesn't have any wear and tear in it.
No, absolutely not. Unless you're sitting there scratching it.
That's the only reason why I believe that chain has done as well over the point of time, is because of the used game market. And it's the only person it's hurting are the game developers.
Right.
100%. I mean, even people in the movie industry make money off of residuals.
Right.
And when it goes to DVD, and then if it's syndicated or anything like that, there are other tiers of possible options for movies to make money.
Yeah.
Games, gotta sell the game.
Yeah.
And you have to be bought new.
Yeah. Because if it's bought used or not bought online legally, there's no
revenue for the developer whatsoever.
No.
You're just giving it to the storefront, or whatever exchange rate it is. Now, exchanging games for game, and that's where I think the hard point of this discussion is that used games. A lot of people are like, "Well, that's crap." Now, that's the actual rub that I would think is the counter argument for this whole discussion.
Okay.
A lot of people would like, and I agree with them too. They say, Ivan, what if I, Ivan Van Norman, would like to give my game to you, Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not reselling it to this person. I'm giving it to you because I bought it. It's mine. I can do with it what I want.
Right.
And that is a valid argument.
Right.
But then where is the fine line between you and I essentially trading a piece of equipment versus a store opening centered around that same system?
Well, I think since in our trade, there's no exchange of money between me and you. It's just the exchange of property.
Yeah.
And that's our total legal choice to do so.
Yeah.
But if you have a store that will trade you a game for a game with no money exchange, I think they can totally do that.
I agree too. But how do you hard code that in the hardware?
Well, I think what they're trying to do is you sign in online.
Yeah.
So you have on a personal account. Say you're playing Final Fantasy, and you have an account with Sony. Yeah. You know, if you wanted to, or who's the publisher for Final Fantasy? Square Enix. So you have an account with them. So if you want to get your saved games, you can sign in or have that license, just like every single.
But then every single developer has to have their own logins.
Pretty much, they have to build that infrastructure.
And that's rough, dude. It'd be easier, but I see what you're saying. It'd be much easier if you could essentially gift a game,
right?
The same way that you do on Steam.
I think you should. I mean, I'm all for that because it's our right to give each other games, give us information,
as long as a monetary unit is in exchange.
Exactly.
You know. And that's. I mean, I agree. That's because we still all need to be people who have free enterprise.
Right.
But I personally am a huge proponent on making sure the developers actually get money for putting out their hard work in a game.
Yeah, I
whether it's $1 free to play or $49.99.
And I don't mind the ads. I don't mind the ads on games that are free.
Yeah,
because that's the price that I.
And
pay.
I don't mind paying a little money to get rid of the ads too.
Right. That's why the 99 cents market has been working out so well, because you pay 99 cents for a game and you play it as much as you want. There might not be ads, but
so that's the big talk with the PS4. But there's also huge talk about how it's going to integrate in social media and people who are going to be able to essentially interact with each other and go and I hear YouTube is going to be is so easy to get a hold of. To the point of where you can upload videos that you play, like if you are playing Call of Duty, instead of having to like hook up a video capture device and all this other stuff to get it done, you can just record off your PS4 and it'll go straight into your hard drive. And then you can upload it straight to YouTube.
So see, you're selling me on it. I'm waiting for Xbox to tell me what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, and the 720, there's not a lot of information out about it right now, which is funny because they're the ones that are technically farther behind the generation at the moment. Pretty much up to that point, they've only been seeing now. All of this information I'm getting is primarily through Twitter, mind you. I didn't actually get to see the Sony press conference.
I didn't get to either.
I was filming for the Hallmark Channel today.
Wait. You can't just drop that on me and expect to go on our stuff every time.
I know.
What are you playing a romantic role very soon?
No, it was really silly. We did the Home and Garden channel for King of the Nerds.
Oh my god.
Bobby and Curtis, and I got to actually hang out with Robert Carradine and Bobby Curtis today on like a person to person level. Cool. I mean, because we met them on the show, obviously, but they're our hosts, and they didn't want us to interact with them too much because they didn't want us tainting. Or them tainting us.
Oh, okay. Conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest, being the host and all that. But actually, I got to like freaking hang out with them at the front of the craft service table, and I helped Robert Carradine send a tweet today.
Okay, so Robert Carradine, what did he have for lunch? Like, what was his lunch selection?
I don't remember what his lunch was. I just remember he sat down and he was having we were just munching on red vines. Because it's at every craft service table on every single film shoot you'll ever be on. I think he was just grabbing snacks back and forth. I mean, I didn't eat that much. I was only there for a couple hours.
Okay.
They made us do a little game show at the very end of it.
I don't watch that channel.
No, nobody does.
So I have no idea what to expect to see. But
but the stay-at-home parents have to know that if their kids are nerds, that's okay. So that was where I came from it.
Is there a huge parent community going, we don't want our kids.
What are you doing playing those video games? I'm sorry, man, but this is a multi-billion dollar industry. It's totally okay for your son to like video games. Make sure he goes and plays outside too, but
and goes to school and does homework.
Goes to school. He doesn't need to like level up his tunes 24/7, but still,
Hey, back in the day, I think I skipped a year about going to college before going to college. Oh wow, it was pretty deep.
It was Ultima Online in college. Hour and a half.
Pre WoW, huh?
Ooh, yeah, boy, was it pre WoW. And I was on a free shard, and it was a role play shard. I had to submit a character. I had to give it a whole backstory and play that character on that shard, and I loved it.
But
I ate that shit up. like Wheaties.
I still do.
I'm thinking about getting back into an MMO.
Nice. Which one are you thinking?
Elder Scrolls.
Oh.
I applied for the beta. We'll see. So Bethesda, if anyone from Bethesda is listening, approve my beta account. I haven't been. Let's do it. So that I can get on it, because I'll create a bomb-ass guild. Seriously, I'm really excited for Elder Scrolls. I mean, one, just because the license is amazing, but I want to be on the ground floor on a MMO.
Yeah.
I want to see what that's like. The last one I played was Star Wars Galaxies.
Okay.
And I loved it up until at some point the prestige class of that game was being a Jedi. You know, and Star Wars Galaxies was supposed to take place after Episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
So ain't many Jedis left.
No.
At Episode 6. So it was, in my opinion, I felt it was pretty accurate, because there was maybe 1% of the player population was a Jedi.
That's pretty good.
So they were really rare, and it was exciting because we had a guild called the Imperial Spy Network. Me and a couple other guys. We were Imperials, and our whole guild was centered around taking screen caps of Jedis and putting huge bounties on their heads and hiring mercenaries to assassinate the Jedis. So they had to be incognito a little bit, because we had our informants all over the galaxy, and it made it so much fun, because we had a website, and we would post up bounties, and just like a bounty hunter, they'd pick up a contract, and they had so much time to deliver on it, or the contract would go up for auction again. But then at some point they made the Jedi prestige class, I'd like to think accidentally, but I think they did it on purpose because numbers were down. They made it really easy for players to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
And then it was just Jedis everywhere.
Yeah, well, that's like kind of the new MMO for Star Wars.
Knights of the Old
Republic, which I played for a while. I got to.
So just Jedi blood everywhere.
Yeah, it's Jedis everywhere. But it's cool though. It's like wow.
At least that makes more sense,
right?
Because it's before Episode 1.
Yeah, so there's Jedi aplenty, Sith aplenty, and some of the other characters are
sure.
It's like the golden age of Star Wars.
Yeah.
That old before the giant after the war, the Great War, and then before the
Empire came in.
Right, exactly.
Now and I totally dig that, but for me, I've always loved the novelty of having it be a very nearly impossible obtainable thing.
Oh, okay.
Because it makes it that much more interesting when there is one there, to do it.
Just like in the universe.
Just like in the universe.
Because everyone's like, ooh, just because you have a lightsaber doesn't mean you're a Jedi.
Yeah.
That was kind of the common knowledge.
Sure.
So that is special.
Speaking of Star Wars.
Right.
We obviously all know JJ's doing the new film. But do you want to tell me the new piece of news you told me?
Okay, so
the show.
The new rumor that's going around is that because I don't want to put it out there that this is fact, because I could be wrong in a week.
Sure.
But they're saying that Harrison Ford will make an appearance as Han Solo again. Which is
crazy.
Nuts.
So how are they going to bring it back in so that Han Solo is now part of?
You mean Indiana Jones?
Yes. I wonder if he's going to throw himself in a fridge, when an atom bomb goes off again. So, man's old.
He is really old, man. I think we him, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, just bow out.
But Harrison Ford just don't want to. He doesn't want to do that shit really much anymore. At least Stallone and Schwarzenegger, they'll say they got good humor about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But last time I saw Harrison Ford act, he was like, "Fuck this shit." He seemed really overacting.
What was his last movie?
Oh no, I feel like when I saw him in Indiana Jones, he was just over it.
He looked like he was done. What is the last one? That's his last one.
Yeah, I thought that the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls.
I have that on my Netflix, but I watched a couple of previews because I was doing a marathon of all the Indiana Jones.
Look at you! Look at you in this marathon binge watching.
Man, I had plenty of time.
Sit down in my underwear for 5 hours and do nothing with my life moments.
Okay, it was either that. Or play more Call of Duty.
So did you watch the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls? Is my question.
Yes, it was horrible.
Okay.
I honestly just want to tell you I didn't watch it, so I can not.
I heard Spielberg took a couple of punches for Lucas.
Yes.
Because him saying that it was his idea, you know. Anyway, we're not here to bash Mr. Lucas because he's retired now, and that's fine.
Multi-billionaire.
Yes,
trillionaire.
He's okay.
He got that Disney money.
He also sold his entire Skywalker studio for it.
Yeah.
So he kind of had to pay the taxes on that.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's not even about the
still
money.
Harrison Ford, is he even going to do anything?
No.
He's just going to stand there.
I don't even. What is he gonna do?
I don't know.
He's gonna. No, you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna end up being the father of the two. Huh? They have two kids, right? Him and Leia. Han and Leia has two. They have twins.
Yeah.
And I think they just have twins. I think he's just gonna be the old guy.
But if they're gonna spend that time to get to that point, are they gonna explore the whole Luke going to the dark side?
They better.
That whole storyline, because that was officially approved in fiction.
It was.
That whole story arc, and it would be awesome to see that because that would sound great. But then, Mark Hamill's retired too, but you don't want Mark Hamill back for that anyway.
Did you see him? Did you see him last year at Comic-Con?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god, the dude's tore up. Just like Princess Leia.
It's because he's voice acting.
I know, which he does great at.
Which he's amazing at. He doesn't need to have a pretty face anymore. He's not Joker anymore because he retired from that too. But
that's
best Joker period.
Right.
Still, I get what you're saying, and all of this just reminds me of that meme that we that we saw around, that I saw floating around the internet for a while. And it was like, okay, when Star Wars came out in 1975, and it was like, oh, Star Wars, who cares? When it came out. And then the escalating circle of life that the fan base went through at that point of like, oh my God, Star Wars, all the way up through episode 3. And then, or episode 6. And then people were like, still, oh yeah, Star Wars, but then it petered back down.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when episode 1 came out, before it came out, everyone was back up on the Star Wars chain. And and so was I. We were all part of it. And so it dipped down, and then it climbed back up before episode 1 came out. And then as soon as the prequels came out, then it started declining like exponentially again. And there's been so much saturation of Star Wars stuff since episode 1 came out that we're now back at square one with Star Wars. Who cares?
I know. I
hate saying that, but I do feel dirty saying it.
No. I think it's a cycle of property that we love and then love to hate and then we love to love.
Yeah, but now we're back to apathy again.
Yeah, well,
because really, we're talking about how we could be. We have the ability, Kevin, to freak the fuck out about Harrison Ford being back in Star Wars. But what are we doing? We're not caring.
No, I don't. That's true. Actually, I didn't even think about it that way. But there is a. It's like, all right.
Okay.
Because we know he's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
We're not fooled.
Are we jaded?
No. Did you see Crystal Skull? The guy didn't do anything.
I know.
So now, years later, do you think he's going to do more?
No, hell no.
No. So that's. The better question is who's gonna play Luke Skywalker?
Who's gonna be Luke?
Okay.
And more importantly, who's gonna be his protege?
Okay. So who, in your infinite wisdom and opinions, would you like to be Luke Skywalker? And age doesn't really matter. It's up to you what age Luke will be because of who you pick.
Who's still got age but glory on them right now? Because that's the thing. I'd like to see someone who is in their late 40s, mid 50s, but still knows how to throw a punch. You know, but also someone who looks like they could be an aged version of Luke, and that just that makes it really hard because there's not a lot out there that fits that, right?
No.
And my gut immediately goes to Liam Neeson.
Okay.
But you know,
wasn't Liam Neeson? Qui-Gon Jinn?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Yeah, so that's a huge obstacle for us.
No, we can't, because he was already a badass who fit that role.
Yeah.
And already did it, and probably was the only, in my opinion, solid actor of that series. So I don't know, dude. I need to get more upfront with my mid-50s actors. So,
you think Clint Eastwood?
Oh, I'd like to think yes, but I'd also like to think no, because that's starting to get that's
just getting ridiculous.
That's just getting rough. You know what? But we need to bring someone on here who's way more familiar with actors than I am, because sadly I am not an actor. Cool.
Well, I think
how about this? Let's make this a big deal. Comment under this video and tell us who you think.
That's true.
Would be a freaking awesome Luke in his 40s and 50s.
Let the audience decide.
Let it, so that we can put it in our show notes or something. Let's get involved. Let's begin.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you have an opinion about the next star, who should be the next Luke Skywalker in the new Star Wars movie, funded by Disney.
Who's dark-sided, by the way. Remember this.
Yes.
He could potentially be aged up to high health because of his influence of the dark side.
Well, and if you have the argument where he should be good in this new movie,
sure,
definitely put it down in the comments.
All right. So I guess the last thing I wanted to cover is the Kick-Ass Kickstarter. Yeah, which is awesome. I think we should always cover a Kick-Ass Kickstarter, and I just saw this today or yesterday. I was blown away.
Okay.
I was blown away by this thing.
Well, what did it do?
3D doodle pen.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Have you seen this thing?
I think so. Is it the one that if you scan a color?
No.
Okay.
No, are you ready for this?
Me out.
It's a pen.
Okay.
Right? It's a pen that has injected plastic inside of it.
Okay.
It's a mini 3D pen. It's a mini 3D printer because it superheats the plastic and you dispense it in the form of a pen, drawing with it, and then it super cools really fast. So you can draw 3D pictures using the superheated plastic, and it stands with full rigidity. I don't know if you can see me doing this, Kevin, with my hands, but I can draw a spiral like a spring.
Oh, so he's going upward from the piece of paper.
Yeah, all the way up and let it go, and that would be a piece of standalone plastic that would be able to have pull-in resistance on it.
Whoa.
And won't break.
You can pretty much, write a sculpture with your hand.
Yes, you could write a sculpture with your hand.
So we can vertically write our essays now.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that makes it a little bit more exciting than writing an essay.
It's crazy seeing what this thing does, and it completely redefines an entire medium of art. I'll put it out there,
Okay.
I was watching. I was on the Kickstarter page. I think they're only in it a week. I'm going to look it up right now. I think they've only been in it a week. And I think
give a shout out so people can check it out themselves.
But I think their goal was 20 thou, and I think they're at 600 thou at this moment. But damn, son, is all I have to say. Doodle pen, 3D doodle pen, which sucks because doodle makes it sound like, oh well, it's just a fun little thing. No, man, this is revolutionizing art in every single way. And in many ways,
yeah, don't worry about talking all the time. Well, I'll just
3D doodler, boom, $1 million.
$1 million?
$1 million. And guess how many days it has left to go?
5.
31.
Wow. Wow.
This could potentially be the most successful Kickstarter I've ever seen.
We should have a segment, Kickstarter Watch.
Well, that's what's called Kick-Ass Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're 5
Dude,
steps ahead
this
of me.
was launched yesterday.
Shut
yesterday,
up.
And it's got a million.
Give out the address.
It's called 3Doodler. 3Doodler, the world's first 3D printing pen.
Check it out.
And it's by Wobbleworks, which are based out of Boston.
Sounds sweet, man.
And here, look at this. I've never seen something more insane. You can come talk in my mic if you want.
Wow. Insane.
And that's what, and again, it's just injected plastic, and you just draw on it, and it is.
That is insane. You could literally, just. I mean, you don't even have to do a 3D printing machine. That is your 3D printing machine.
Yeah, it's you drawing the 3D printing.
So we're gonna put an art back in technology at this point.
Hell yeah, that's an excellent way of putting it, Kevin. We're putting the art back in technology. And so watch, he's gonna do the square, yeah, and then he's pulling it up. Look at he's pulling it up, and then he's gonna connect the 4 points of the grid using it as well too. Done.
Wow.
Done. Okay,
and that's that. And when we're talking about he's going up, he's creating a 3D cube. So he built a 2D cube, and then he put the sides upward, verticals.
It should say something to pretty much anyone who's listening to this right now that if they can have $1 million in 2 days, that's beyond ridiculous.
And it's 31 days left. And what's the 11,000 number? What is that?
That's how many backers.
Oh wow! So only 11,000 people have put up $1 million. Wow.
Yeah. Most 22 backers did $99. What's the highest? Where they have 10 grand. No one's done 10 grand yet. But
what do you get?
But there's a lot of thousand. There's 4 backers for the $1,000.
Wow. And I mean, these aren't like big companies, you know. These are people like us who see a good idea and see a good investment.
And all the people in the 125 level are gone. All the people at the $99 are gone. It's about $99, and you get 10 bags of plastic and the pen for $99.
Wow. What about the material?
The bags?
Mm-hmm. What do you mean bags?
They're plastic. They're the actual pen. They're the superheated plastic injectors.
Okay.
That you put into it. So think of it like a hot glue gun.
Oh, okay.
You know.
So the bags are the ammo, pretty much.
The ammo, yeah.
Okay. So you get how many bags?
10 bags of plastic. Each bag a different color.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. So you can combine.
I don't know what that translates to. How much it is.
Yeah, like how long can you draw?
How much sculpt can you get out of it? But I'm certain, you know.
A good amount with 10 each color.
Doesn't matter, dude. You're drawing in 3D. Pay the $100. Pay the man.
Just pay the man.
Just pay the man.
You'll get what you want.
So I think that's all the time we got. We did. I know. I want to be really adamant about keeping these, nice and condensed.
Yeah.
You know, because there's nothing that pisses me off more than a podcast that goes 2.5 hours.
I actually love those. I'm the opposite.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, you can. Why don't you tell us too, people's fans?
Yeah. How long?
Soon to be fans.
How long do you want us?
How long do you want us talking? Is an hour okay? Do you want an hour and a half?
2 hours.
Can you literally stand my whiny voice for up to that much time? Like, let us know. So,
in the comments bar.
In the comments bar. But until then,
check us out on iTunes.
Subscribe.
YouTube, Nerd Commies Podcast.
Nerd Commies
or
Podcast.
go to Ivan's YouTube and tweet him.
And tweet me.
Ask him something. So we ask him something so he can answer it on our next podcast.
Yeah. And make sure you hashtag Nerd Commies. So I know it's coming from Nerd Commies.
Yeah.
You know? And not King of the Nerds. Because that's good. I love that. But if you're going to have something Nerd Commies related, use the hashtag.
Yeah, we didn't get to talk about King of the Nerds, but I think we'll save it for next time.
You'll do it. There's a lot going on, and I'm going to be posting a vlog tomorrow about it anyway. So
sweet. So hopefully, what was the chicken?
Chicken Panda.
I just want to quickly touch on Chicken Panda.
Okay.
Dude, that was hilarious. Okay. From the first podcast in which I had never seen it.
Yeah.
Until up to this point that I've watched most all of them except for the newest one.
Yeah.
But I watched Chicken Panda. Oh my God. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to participate, but I am. You know? I'm going to be in it. But just, you know.
But just doing my thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it cheered up a lot of people because I think that kind of would have been a little bit boring if you didn't have someone who was kind of cheering on his teammates.
I appreciate that you saw that the intent of it was to just 100% be colorful and have fun.
Yeah. No one took you serious. I hope not.
Well, yeah, it's really easy to take a competition like this seriously. I was really happy that I could see Chicken Panda shine. His moment of glory.
I want to do a podcast where we reveal the origins of Chicken Panda.
I know. I'm going to talk about it on my vlog tomorrow.
Okay, all right. So I get to read it.
You can listen. You can listen because I'll have it on video. Okay. But I'll talk about it here too if you want.
Okay.
It's a fun story. Very simple story.
Sweet.
But it's a fun story.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, guys. Signing off. You got Ivan here.
And co-host Ken.
All right. And we'll see you next time on Nerd Commies.